You know, I think his style suits better for the longer, you know, a 25 minutes or, you know, a 15 minutes. But one 5-minute round, if you had to show me something, no one can show me better than Chimaev. Their skills. I would put Chimaev right up there.
Can you kill a man when you have to? Yes, I can. If there's no ref, the ref doesn't stop it, I'm not stopping.
I mean, do you feel any pressure going into this fight?
Yeah, I think for me, pressure is such a big part of the game. I think if you don't feel any pressure, then you don't care enough. You know, for me, the pressure comes from me putting a high expectation for myself, going out there, you know, defending my belt, going back home without it is not an option for me. So the pressure is there, not only to win, but to perform to the best of my abilities and being better than the previous outing. So, yeah, of course there's pressure.
The highly anticipated clash between Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus du Plessis is just a few days away, and the MMA world can't wait to witness their showdown at UFC 319. Featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski expressed excitement for this fight and praised Khamzat Chimaev's grappling skills, suggesting that many people don't fully appreciate how good he really is. He said, when it comes to MMA grappling and wrestling, if there was just one round to prove himself, Chimaev would clearly stand out above the rest.
But I'm going to tell you how good Chimaev is. I don't think people know he's a good grappler and be like, oh, yeah, he's cool. But when it comes to MMA, grappling, wrestling, I could say he would probably be, if you had one round to prove yourself, Chimaev, hands down, I've got Chimaev.
However, Dricus du Plessis predicted the first round against Khamzat Chimaev would be intense and non-stop action. He emphasized that his game plan wasn't just about defending takedowns, but actively attacking. Using fights like those of Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman as examples, du Plessis highlighted that maintaining offensive pressure is crucial to staying competitive against Chimaev.
I just think, you know, I don't see him coming in with a different game plan, and me neither. I'm going out there to attack. I'm going there to kill him. I'm not going out there to defend Khamzat's takedowns. I'm not going out there to defend. I'm going there to attack. So I think it's going to look a little bit different. I mean, if you look at the Gilbert Burns fight and the success he had with Khamzat, that's a very, very good. Even with the Usman fight, Usman was, well, people don't just go and defend against him. He was forced. Usman was forced to defend, and he did a great job. And then he started with his offensive wrestling and you know, showing Khamzat that he's not the only one that can wrestle in there.
On the other hand, despite questions about his cardio and stamina for 5 rounds, Khamzat Chimaev dismisses all doubts. He insists he's fully prepared for anything against Dricus du Plessis. Whether the fight finishes fast or goes the distance, Chimaev vows to give everything he's got and be ready to battle hard.
Well, even if it's not striking, if it's just if it's like that, you know, do you think it's going to be? I mean, you've had to work so hard to get here. Do you think that the final step is going to be over quickly, or do you feel like there's going to be a lot of adversity in this fight?
I'm gonna go all in, like always does. So we will see if it's gonna go fast. It's gonna be fast, but if it goes for 5 rounds, I will be ready. I'm fighting there 5 rounds.
Khamzat Chimaev was blunt about Dricus du Plessis' takedown defense, highlighting that even fighters not known for wrestling, like Robert Whittaker, have successfully taken Dricus du Plessis down. Khamzat emphasized that as one of the top wrestlers in MMA, if strikers can bring du Plessis to the mat, he doesn't see why it would be difficult for him to do the same.
You want to give him credit. You don't want to think that, you know, it's going to be easy, but when you really look at this guy, do you think he's going to be able to stop your takedown, or what do you think you're going to find out when you get in there with him immediately, from just based on what you've seen on film?
Like I told before, and the guys after my fight with Robert, and they said, like I said to the guys, watch guys, the other UFC fighters was usually strikes, they takes him down. I'm a wrestler in MMA, like one of the best wrestlers in MMA. How it's not possible to take this guy down? If Robert took him down and Tyron Till scramble and take over, and he took him down as well. But you know, the guys know at which level I am in wrestling and in MMA.
Dricus du Plessis also recognized Khamzat Chimaev as the toughest opponent he's faced so far. but mentioned that being underestimated is familiar territory. He noted that each title defense brings a serious threat, and this fight is no different. Confident in his progress, du Plessis vowed to prove his growth and show why he deserves to keep the championship.
You're an underdog heading into this fight. Is this going to be the toughest fight for you yet?
Well, I mean, yet to lose means that I have to lose some time, and I don't need that. I have 2 losses in my career. I know how it feels, and I'm completely fine if I never feel it again. But yeah, I'm the underdog. I've been the underdog most of my career, but yet I am the champion. So, you know, odds don't make fights. And for me, I 100% believe this is the best opponent that I've faced to date, but so was the previous one. And every time that you step in there, you are going to face the next most dangerous guy, especially as a champion. So for me, yes, this is the best fighter that the best opponent that I've ever come up against. But once again, I will show my improvements and why I am the champion.
Meanwhile, Anthony Hernandez believes Dricus du Plessis has what it takes to beat Khamzat Chimaev, calling him a tough and durable fighter who doesn't tire easily. He mentioned that unlike most of Chimaev's opponents who come from lighter weight classes, Dricus is a real test at 185 pounds. Hernandez expressed curiosity about how that matchup would go and said if given 5 rounds, he feels confident he could finish anyone. He also emphasized his own determination to fight top contenders and go after the belt without hesitation.
Middleweight title on the line between Dricus and Khamzat. How do you see it playing out?
I think Dricus is going to get him, dude. He's a tough son of a bitch, you know what I mean? He doesn't gas out, and then, like I've said with Khamzat, I've never seen him like fight like a legit 185. I mean, Whitaker, yeah, but like besides that, everyone else is like 155ers coming up and shit. So I really want to see him with an actual test, you know what I mean?
If that test was you and you fought Khamzat Chimaev, how would that play out?
I think he gasses. You give me 5 rounds with him, I'll finish anybody, you know what I mean? I don't give a f. I'm here to fight whoever. I want the belt, so I'm going to fight all these sooner or later, run it. Like, as simple as that.
In another interview, Anthony Hernandez described Dricus du Plessis as a strong, tricky, and risky challenge for any fighter. He raised doubts about whether Khamzat Chimaev had really faced a natural middleweight of Dricus' size and skill, aside from Robert Whitaker. Hernandez questioned how Chimaev would deal with that combination of size and adaptability. Ultimately, he supported Dricus to come out on top, trusting that his toughness and stamina would make the difference.
Honestly, dude, DDP's a tough, awkward mother, and Chimaev has never fought like a, I don't know, has he fought like, besides Whitaker, has he fought any like real 85ers? I'm curious to see how he does with the actual big motherfucker, you know what I mean? That can fight everywhere.
UFC legend Michael Bisping emphasized Dricus du Plessis' unusually large frame for a middleweight, along with his solid jiu-jitsu and readiness to engage Khamzat Chimaev in grappling battles. He highlighted DDP's strength, stamina, toughness, and knockout ability, noting that the key issue would be if Chimaev could maintain his intensity throughout all 5 rounds without tiring.
Du Plessis is a gigantic middleweight, walks around at about 230 pounds, diets down to 185. He's got excellent jiu-jitsu. We've seen the videos of him tapping out multiple black belts. He's spoken quite openly that he's going to beat Khamzat at his own game. He's going to go toe-to-toe. He's going to walk him down. He's going to choose to grapple with him and test him down there on the ground. He's big, he's strong, he's got a good gas tank, he's got an excellent chin, and he's got knockout power. So we are going to see if Khamzat Chimaev can really push it over 5 rounds, because if he can't, he's going to be in a lot of trouble.
Michael Bisping recognized Dricus du Plessis' strong track record, citing his wins over Strickland, Adesanya, and Whitaker. However, he viewed Khamzat Chimaev as a unique and aggressive opponent who fights with relentless intensity. Bisping expressed doubt that Chimaev could easily overpower du Plessis like he has done to others and questioned if he could maintain that pace through a full 5 rounds.
Dricus beat Strickland twice, Israel Adesanya, Robert Whitaker. Before that was Derek Brunson and Darren Till and Brad Tavares. It was definitely, I won't say a step up because Strickland was a champ and Israel was a long-time champ. But I do think Khamzat is a different kind of beast. You know, The question is, can he go 5 rounds? You know, I think he knows he can't expect to go out there and just get a hold of Dricus, ragdoll him to the floor, and face crank him, smash his teeth in like he did to Robert Whitaker, and walk away, you know. But the fun thing about Khamzat is that he'll try and do that. I don't think he has the ability to pace himself because he's never had a need to.
Former UFC champion Chael Sonnen discussed how Khamzat Chimaev might secure a victory over Dricus du Plessis. He said Khamzat's primary strategy would focus on taking du Plessis down and maintaining control on the ground. If that approach fails, Chimaev would rely on outstriking him while standing. Sonnen also pointed out that many believed Khamzat was unbeatable, but this fight could be the true test of that assumption.
Is a different verbiage for saying I don't think Chimaev can beat Dricus, and I'm only sharing with you that's new. You guys have always believed that Chimaev could beat Dricus. You've always believed that Chimaev could beat everybody. You believed as recently as Chimaev's last fight that nobody could touch him. And you're a very fickle group. And can he beat him? That's between those two. How does he beat him? He starts with plan A, which is to take him down and maul him. And if that doesn't work, which in the past it hasn't, he attempts to bludgeon him on his feet more than he gets bludgeoned. That's the answer to the question. That's how Chimaev would beat Dricus.
Meanwhile, Corey Brundage said that he frequently underestimated Dricus du Plessis before his fights, only to see him come out on top decisively almost every time. He highlighted how DDP had controlled the majority of his opponents, while Khamzat Chimaev had similarly overwhelmed his challengers. Brundage also believed the doubts about Khamzat's cardio were exaggerated, pointing out that Chimaev went the full distance with Kamaru Usman, who was regarded as one of the best welterweights in history.
So do you burn or chill Khamzat beating Dricus du Plessis?
Bro, that's a good one. Because, you know, every fight, I'm like, DDP is not winning this fight. There's no way. And he wins. And he not only does he win, he really dominates, bro. There haven't been many fights he's had that I felt like were very close, except for maybe his first Sean Strickland fight.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm like, bro, he's really run through pretty much everybody. And he's big for the weight. But Khamzat also has run through everybody. And everybody's hating on his cardio, but, like, bro, he's a savage. He went the distance with Kamaru. And, yeah, it was only 3 rounds. But Kamaru, like, people were saying, was the greatest welterweight of all time. You know, so I know he lost a couple fights. People forget that shit. But in the moment, it was like, bro, this guy is an animal that he's fighting.
Yeah.
Corey Brundage ultimately favored Khamzat Chimaev, convinced that once Chimaev locked onto an opponent, his strength and control were exceptional. He recalled watching training footage where Chimaev seemed to dominate top wrestler Pat Downey, leading Brundage to believe Khamzat could impose that level of dominance on nearly anyone. However, he also admitted that Dricus du Plessis had proven him wrong more times than he could count.
He sat there and traded. It wasn't like he tried to grapple. I mean, outside of the first round, he really sat there and traded, and his pressure is underrated too.
Yeah.
I'm curious
on
to
the
see
ground?
Dricus on that.
On the ground, though? Oh, my gosh.
Not even on the ground, like standing too.
Nah.
His constant pressure.
Yeah. Well, I think Dricus is going to have to. So if I'm Khamzat, I'm coming out and striking early. I'm going to test his wrestling. And then the whole fight, though, he's got to worry about the wrestling, right? So the striking becomes way easier. And then the pressure becomes way easier.
Meanwhile, Paul Felder considers Dricus du Plessis' upcoming fight against Khamzat Chimaev his toughest challenge to date. He highlighted Chimaev's fierce pressure and aggressive start as key reasons why he poses such a serious threat. Despite du Plessis' past wins over elite opponents like Whitaker, Felder believes this relentless style pushes du Plessis to face his biggest test yet.
Do you think this is the toughest test of Dricus du Plessis' career?
Yeah, I think so. I think just that first round type of crazy onslaught that he brings to the table and the pressure that he brings early in a fight is very, very difficult, where it might not be the highest caliber as far as pedigree and what we've seen from a fighter so far. I mean, you know, you got Whitakers and people like that he's been able to beat and get through. But I absolutely think that this is going to be his biggest test.
Paul Felder highlighted that the first 5 minutes of the fight will be extremely intense for Dricus du Plessis due to Khamzat Chimaev's non-stop aggression. He described Chimaev as someone who immediately presses forward, aiming to secure dominant positions, deliver powerful strikes, and end the fight quickly, Felder also mentioned that although du Plessis can seem unpredictable or rough around the edges, he has a strong track record of surprising critics. In the end, Felder favors du Plessis to come out on top despite the tough challenge.
For somebody that's going to come out and you know that first 5 minutes is absolute chaos with somebody like Khamzat. He's going to be on him. He's going to try to take him down. He's going to try to take his back, and he throws big punches. And Dricus being a little bit wild and a little bit clumsy in there sometimes. I think this is his biggest test. But, dude, I'm done ever counting Dricus du Plessis out of a fight. He has proven all of us wrong over and over again in these fights where we think he's going to, okay, this guy's going to kick his ass. So if I had to pick, I'm leaning du Plessis.
On the other hand, Arman Tsarukyan, who trained alongside Khamzat Chimaev during camp, expressed full support for him, hoping to see Khamzat claim the UFC title. He mentioned that Khamzat appeared sharp, energetic, and had an excellent training camp. Arman also noted that he contributed wherever needed, whether in wrestling or striking, because he genuinely wants to see Khamzat reach the pinnacle of the sport.
Hello everybody, I'm Arman Tsarukyan. We have a training camp with Khamzat Chimaev. He's getting ready for his title fight. He looks sharp, so excited for him and to see him UFC champion. So far his camp going well, he's healthy, he has a lot of energy, and I'm just here to help him whatever they need. If they need the wrestling, I'll wrestle. If they need the striking, I'll strike. So I'm here to help, and I want him to be a UFC champion.
However, Arman Tsarukyan noted that Khamzat Chimaev sometimes goes into fights not fully recovered due to overtraining. He explained that Khamzat now works with a coach who uses a device to monitor his daily recovery, which helps better manage his training load and prevent burnout.
Выходит на пик, так как он любит очень много тренироваться, его на тренировках надо останавливать. Он, допустим, поспарринговал, идет там мешок бьет, потом лапы бьет, потом упадет, штангу покачается. То есть он из тех парней, которым нужно остановить и сказать: все, Хамзат, порастягивайся и уходи. Его проверяют каждый день, его восстановление, он встает, и есть монитор, где показывает его восстановление каждое утро. И если он находится в яме, то из ямы вытаскивают, дают больше отдохнуть, чтобы он был свеж и мог выполнить. Потому что ты, если придешь перетренированный на спарринг, ты не сможешь отработать. И из-за этого вот этого парня нужен человек, который будет 24/7 контролировать его и останавливать, чтобы он не перетренировался.
Reinier de Ridder shared his thoughts based on training with both fighters, expressing more confidence in Dricus du Plessis lasting against Khamzat Chimaev. He didn't expect Chimaev to finish the fight early, but believed the later rounds, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, would be where Dricus starts to gain an advantage. De Ridder joked that he hopes the fight doesn't go that far so that he can step in and take part himself.
I'm still leaning towards Dricus because of the experience I have with training with both the guys. I just don't see Khamzat finishing him early, and I see Dricus building in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round. I see him edging it out, but we'll see. Hopefully it never happens and I can jump in.
Reinier de Ridder described Dricus du Plessis as a difficult opponent because of his unusual movement and stamina. He noted that du Plessis uses strange angles and has an impressive gas tank. De Ridder said that most fighters either strike or wrestle separately, but what they haven't tried is mixing strikes with takedowns. For a fight against du Plessis, he suggested hitting him enough to make him protect himself, then pushing him against the cage to wrestle and control him in the clinch.
What do you think is the key to beating DDP? Because he's just one of those guys, yeah.
It's a crazy puzzle to solve, because it's so, the way he moves, everything he does is so weird. The gas tank is crazy. The angles he comes with is very weird. But what we haven't seen people do to him is mixing strikes and takedowns. They all strike and then he shells up, moves back. They stop striking and then he gets another go. But I think what would be important in a Dricus fight is hit him with a couple shots, make him shell up like he likes to do, and then push him against the cage, wrestle with him, get into the clinch.
Reinier de Ridder expressed a preference for Dricus du Plessis to beat Khamzat Chimaev. thinking it would keep the division moving forward. He mentioned that if Khamzat wins decisively, he might take a long break because of his rising fame. On the other hand, De Ridder believed Dricus would remain busy and probably defend the belt within a few months.
Is there one that you lean towards in terms of like which one would you prefer?
Well, Khamzat is, of course, I think if Khamzat wins this one, especially if he wins decisively, it'll be like a huge name, right? And that might come with him taking a lot of time off after. So it might be better if Dricus wins, and then we can fight in 4 to 6 months. That would be best, I think, yeah.
I'm sure like the reality is like Khamzat could win but then be out for a year, and I know you don't want to wait that long.
Nah, exactly. So hopefully it would be nice if Dricus wins and we can line it up, yeah.
In a separate interview, Reinier de Ridder mentioned that it remains challenging to gauge Khamzat Chimaev's true skill level because the fast victory over Robert Whittaker didn't reveal much. Although he admitted Chimaev might have progressed since that fight, de Ridder believed there are still many uncertainties preventing a clear judgment of his abilities.
Dricus is a guy who doesn't really hold anything back anyway in the first couple of rounds, so that's why I feel like Dricus might be the favorite in my mind, but we'll see. We haven't seen Khamzat as active. We didn't see a lot from him in the Whittaker fight because he took him down, stayed on top, and then finished him pretty quickly. So I'm curious. Maybe he evolved a lot as well. We don't really know where Khamzat is at because he might have just really upped his game and really evolved as a fighter as well.
On the contrary, Eddie Alvarez confessed that betting against Khamzat Chimaev is difficult given his sheer power and dominance. However, he also described Dricus du Plessis as an unconventional and quirky fighter whose style may not be flashy but consistently gets results. Alvarez applauded du Plessis' exceptional stamina and relentless work ethic, noting that no matter how the fight unfolds, Dricus always manages to find a way to secure victory, making him a tough opponent to dismiss.
I think it's hard to bet against Chimaev for me. The guy's a powerhouse, but I can't pick that. Yeah, Dricus is like this odd character for me. Like I never really watching him aesthetically. It don't all look perfect. It's very like it doesn't look aesthetically. It doesn't look good, but he gets the job done. His conditioning's crazy. He's one of the hardest workers in the entire sport, and he finds a way. He's one of them guys who find a way, regardless of how it looks. So you can never count him out. But I think Chimaev, if it goes past round 2, Dricus.
Additionally, Mateusz Gamrot shared his perspective on the fight, describing it as a compelling battle of contrasting styles. He commended Khamzat Chimaev's top-tier wrestling ability and physical power, and although he respects Dricus du Plessis, he doubts whether DDP can reliably defend against Chimaev's takedowns. Ultimately, Gamrot leans toward Chimaev securing the victory.
Oh, this is interesting matchup. Chimaev is really high-level wrestler and he is strong. I like Dricus. He meet a couple times. It's hard to prediction, but I don't think so that Dricus will stop wrestling Chimaev, and I think maybe Chimaev will beat this guy.
Mavsar Evloev also sees this matchup as a potential and possible showcase of total dominance, where one fighter's exceptional abilities overwhelm the other completely. He expects a decisive performance that could send shockwaves through the division and clearly establish who is the top competitor in the cage.
Who do you think wins that fight between DDP and Khamzat?
I don't think that du Plessis is wrestling even close to Khamzat. When we watch fight with Whittaker, he just take him down and he just like break him. So nobody did this against Whittaker before, and Khamzat still have big power of punching, right? He can just turn off your light by one punch.
Yeah, but DDP looked crazy strong and big in his last fight against Sean Strickland. Khamzat's not a really big 185er. He's got to be like 190 pounds fighting at 185. He's cutting to
I think
5 pounds.
he even bigger than Plessis. Yeah.
No way.
Of course
No
he
way.
is, bro. He's big. He's big and strong as hell. Yeah. I don't know how much it's in pounds, but he more than 100 kg.
So that's all we have from today's video, and hopefully you've enjoyed it. Share your predictions for this matchup in the comment section below, and subscribe to our channel to get more UFC updates.